Well, we are still here at the Tafawa Balewa Cricket Oval. We call it our own Lords of Cricket Oval in Nigeria. And we are in for match 17. But more importantly, elimination 2. And this will determine who faces the Middlebelt Tigers, who lost by 17 runs to the Southern Sharks in the game tomorrow. And it's the Northern Lions versus the Central Eagles. The captain of the Northern Lions is Sylvester Okwe, and the captain of the Central Eagles is Peter Hall. And this game is very important to both teams as they look to face the Southern Sharks in the final. The three teams that are jostling for that one ticket, the Middlebelt Tigers, the Central Eagles, and the Northern Lions. Like I said, this is how things have panned out from when competition started. Let me just start from what just happened in Elimination 1, where the Southern Sharks defeated the Middlebelt Tigers by 17 runs. We also saw the Middlebelt Tigers beating the Northern Lions by 61 runs. And this was the game that took the Middlebelt Tigers to the summit of that Nigeria Super League. The Southern Sharks defeated the Eastern Elephants by 35 runs. This game was a reduced over, and one of the games that saw Isaac Danladi explode. He was also very instrumental in their game against the Middlebelt Tigers in the Elimination 1 that took them to the final. The Central Eagles, of course, lost against the Southern Sharks by 7 wickets. The Southern Sharks lost against the Middlebelt Tigers by 5 wickets. So this was more like revenge from what happened on Saturday, the 23rd of May 2026. The Northern Lions, of course, lost by 5 wickets to the Eastern Elephants, who have already beaten this competition by. The Central Eagles won the Western Dolphins by 6 runs. The Western Dolphins created the record at this tournament, becoming the only team that came to this tournament and didn't get a single win. The Central Eagles also narrowly won the Middlebelt Tigers by a single run, and the Western Dolphins lost by 5 wickets to the Northern Lions. Those are how things panned out, and a little bit of more that happened. And of course, looking at the players who have the most fours, but let me just tell you that we have seen a total of 241 fours. The man with the most fours is Solomon Chilimaya, who is second on the batting scorecard to Isaac Danladi. He has 17 fours to his credit, and he plays for the Middlebelt Tigers. Danladi Isaac, the man who is the best batter currently for Southern Sharks, has 16 fours. Isesele Odion Evangel also has 16 fours, plays for the Southern Sharks. Okwe Sylvester will have an opportunity to play today. He plays for the Northern Lions and is their captain. He has 12 fours. Selim Salau of the Central Eagles has 10 fours. Looking at the sixes, they call them the maximum. We love to see it. 87 in total. Selim Salau has the most. He has 8 sixes, followed by Hussaini Prosper, who had 6, and Ramon Ali, whose tournament is done and dusted, also has 6. Kenneth Boniface is through to the final. He has 6 for the Southern Sharks. And Vincent Adewoye, the captain of the Western Dolphins, has 6 maximum. So that's how things are as far as maximum is concerned. 87 sixes and 241 fours. Those are the individual batters who have done excellently well with the bat. We go to the runs. Danladi Isaac, 157 runs from 6 matches, highest score of 51, and his strike rate 129.75. Solomon Chilimaya is in second position. 6 matches he has played, 152 runs, 49 is his highest score, and a strike rate of 136.94. Selim Salau is third, and we leave it at that. He has 5 matches played, 134 runs, 83 as the highest score, and 128.85. That's all you need to know as far as batting is concerned. We leave those who are doing very well with the bat. Let's go straight to those who do it with the ball. And clear favorite, Danladi Isaac, 6 matches, 12 wickets, 1 maiden, an economy rate of 6.21. Undubudem Elochukwu of the Middlebelt Tigers, 6 matches, 11 wickets, economy rate of 5.19. Sulaiman Rushewe, captain of the Middlebelt Tigers, 6 matches, 8 wickets, economy rate of 5.65. And of course, Taiwo Mohammed, tournament done and dusted, is out. Aigbe Miracle has 8 wickets to his credit. He is through to the final, and he has an economy rate of 7.33 after 6 matches. So those are the batting and of course the bowling. And I must say credit to our producer who put this up for you to see how things have panned out as far as this tournament is concerned. Don't forget that this tournament will have 20 matches across 15 days, one venue, and eventually one winner will be crowned in the next 48 hours. Who will be our first champion of the Nigeria Super League? Only time will tell. Not even a soothsayer can tell you who that will be and how things have turned out. And looking at what we are expecting today, let me just quickly run you through what happened at the center. I was at the center and I had the opportunity to have a conversation with the two captains. The captain of the Northern Lions, Sylvester Okwe, is the home team. The captain of the Central Eagles, Peter Hall, was the away team. But at the end of the day, the captain of the Central Eagles, Peter Hall, won the toss, and what he elected to do was to go and bat. And I asked him what informed that decision, and he said, looking at what happened in the previous game when the Southern Sharks went in to go and bat, they eventually defended it. The reason he is deciding to go and of course bat first. The two field umpires for today is umpire Taiwo Oladujoye and umpire Ramon Adelakun, while the third umpire is umpire Wale Adekoya. I'm being joined by Endurance of M, and of course Endurance of M. Central Eagles won the toss and elected to bat, but the Central Eagles are missing 3 players. 2 of them have gone to write exam and 1 has also gone back, and 2 very instrumental players. I'm talking about, if you look at it, what you have, maybe you just run us through the squad. I should just run through the squad list of the Central Eagles.
Clearly, good afternoon, Ajidagba. I think we have a game in our hands this afternoon. It's the Northern Lions, favorites for this tournament. Have struggled but found themselves in this situation to lead the Central Eagle with Peter Aho, Aziz Wariz, Chima Akachuku, Emmanuel Boniface-Ocha, Mohamed Mashoud, Selim Salah, who will be missing out, Ubo Ifeanyi, Adebayo Samson, Oladijo Emmanuel, Peter Isari, Abdullahi, trust me, Abdurrahman, Karim Ayoku. They've got the potentials there. You talked about 3 players missing in this lineup, but I tell you what I see opportunities for new players to raise their hands and be counted in this very important encounter, the second semifinals. Northern Lions here, Okwe Sylvester will lead the pack. Elijah Saturday Jimmy, that young man there, he's got what it takes and the ability to dominate. Akere Isesele, Ainla Abdullahi, Daniel Balogun, Eweka Ogbemudia, Ozana Omoni Kobio, Isaac Onyemba, Miracle Solomon, Mubarak, that fast bowler, Becky, Okasha, the young man I say who's got plenty of potential, Isiaku, Regnet Osage, Ridwan Karim, who is yet to come fully to the part in this tournament, and Saturday, Elijah, who will do the arms for Northern Lions. Everything is at stake here. A win here would means they'll play Middlebelt Tigers in the second semifinals. Hopefully, we get the best moments from here. If you're just joining us, it is the Super League. It is the Nigerian Super League, and for sure, we know the excitement awaits us between these great captains, Sylvester Okwe, that young man, against his under-19 counterpart and national team counterpart, Peter Aho. They know all is at stake. They know what it means to be at this level. Viewers around the country are following. Selectors are watching. Opportunity in the Nigerian lineup against Namibia and Hong Kong in June is at stake. So they know everything is at stake here at Jidagba. We won't be talking about the missing players. We'll be talking about the opportunities created.
Absolutely, but 2 players are going to be missing for the Northern Lions. Akere Isesele is, of course, out of this game. Is just recovering from the illness he suffered yesterday, same as Miracle Solomon is out. So Becky Mubarak is back into the squad, and that's good news for Becky. So, ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, I will take a pause as I allow Olumide to kickstart things with Endurance of Fame for this Eliminator 2.
Straight up, Okacha will be opening the bowling from this Court of Appeal end. First up, we'll be bowling in a couple of seconds. Umpire's just waiting for time there. It's Taiwo Oladunjoye, that man, and Ramona Delacun. AJ, you're welcome to the Comes Walk again.
Thank you very much, Endurance of Fame.
Always a pleasure to do this with you.
Same here, bro.
Backing away from that delivery. Runs opportunities here, and they will take them. And they begins with more and more thought process here. Central Eagles are on the mark. Every opportunity here. They're missing that firepower. Selim Salah, and that would have given them that quick push. But I'll tell you what, every opportunity for the next man. And everyone want to take them.
Central Eagles off the mark, that by wicketkeeper not holding on to the ball, and Chima Akachuku taking advantage of that, and running with Asari Peter to secure that opening run. Everything to fight for here. The Tafawa Balewa Cricket Oval. The Central Eagles would like to put as many runs on board. Kasha not giving anything away, starting quietly. Would love to pick the dot balls, and would like to restrict them to a comfortable total that they will be able to chase in the second inning. Swing and a miss there.
Okacha still trying to find that rhythm. And clearly, we'll see how important this is. 2 runs already from 3 deliveries, of which some are wides. Just to buy from that first ball. Interesting to see that opportunity created, and Akachuku Chima and took the responsibility to open the button. It shows you a true all-round cricketer in that young man, Chima.
Yeah, it's always good to see a young man take on responsibility. He's doing that for his team, Akachuku Chima. Very good all-rounder. He's done well for his team with the ball as well. And he looks to do more with the bat today.
We call this game the Eliminator. The loser here will go and wait for a third place finish. And the winner here will take on the Middlebelt Tigers. Finals will be on Saturday. The Sharks are in that one already. Haven't beaten Middlebelt Tigers in the first semis. Slower delivery. Another dot ball.
Ukasha just looking to pick up the dot balls from the look of things, not really worrying Asari Peter. Peter has not really gotten going in this tournament. One of those young lads promising young lads. We hope he gets to play better today. And another dot ball there.
Wonder why he's jumping back though. And that brings us to the end of the first over. No wicket loss yet. A couple of runs, a few extras. It's a repeater being thrown into the big ocean here. And then just when the bowler is delivering the ball, he's moving backwards. That front foot out of the, instead of the front foot going into the line of the delivery. As a young man, perhaps somebody has to watch this tape and show them to him. End of the third over, it's 8 for no loss. Let's keep her back on with the dot ball, straight up. This time against a more experienced Chima, 5 of 10 so far. Oh, brilliant running between the wickets, sloppy fielding there, you can say. That went straight to the fielder, shouldn't be a single.
Yeah, Chima walking that ball towards that leg side. He's not been aggressive, Chima. I'm sure he's playing according to plan. Lost their opener to exams in Salim Salau. He's taking on this responsibility. Yeah, finally, Isari Peter getting off the mark. And very good running between wickets as well.
It's good to see how it's shaped in this time. Maybe somebody just passed the message to him. But it's good to see him as well. Hopefully he can progress from here. A bit of technical niching here and there. He will become a fine cricketer, that young man. So plays around that one, rattles him a bit, but not interested. Umpire Ramon Adelakun has to be spot on. In the air, inside out, you call it uppercut, whatever you want to, but Chima gets much of this one, and it's the first boundary for him. Very good. Now he moves on to 10 of 13 deliveries. Sylvester Okwe losing patience with himself and just bowled that one slightly quicker than the previous one. And look at it again on your screen. Rocks on that back foot. Chima Akachukwu. A young man has got the exposure and experience. It's just about how much time he has left to bat. We might see something, a glimpse of hope from him. He wants it, but no is the call. Peter sends him back as a brave decision. And that brings us to the end of the fourth over. It is 14 for no loss. And gradually finding that a rhythmic partnership might not be enough. You probably want to be in your 30s or 40s in this format of the game after 4 overs. But no, when you are filling in the gap for some big shoes, you're not sure, you have to be careful. And you have to find that balance and mix.
Yeah, no gainsaying that endurance. And it has shown in Chima Akachukwu's demeanor. He's not going all out aggressive. He's being quiet. He's being patient, waiting for that loose ball to pounce on, which he did very well with that delivery from Sylvester Okwe. You know, you keep grafting. It's good to see that they still not lost a wicket. They need to play around. Chima needs to stay for a long time. And now Becky, coming from that cut of appeal end. Becky, fine bowler for his team. Reliable horse. He's done well for them throughout this tournament. Got that maiden over of the tournament. 6 dot balls, Becky. Very good one there. Good start. Dotting away. You want to try to rotate the strike, not really, playing dead bat like that. But we understand at some point they would need to step on gas, keeping their wicket, playing to their plan.
Sure, the captain of the fielding side will be happy to bowl as many balls as possible to Peter Isari. Wide delivery. Now he's becoming aggressive. He's moving his feet across and onto that off-stump line. But the ball again is not there for him. Hopefully, let's see how Becky manages this. He's experienced enough to know wide balls don't help.
Deft touch there by Peter Isari. I think he's getting a bit more confident now, Andy. The longer you stay, the better. The butterflies will go away, and hopefully he'll be able to play his natural game. It's taking a lot of balls to get going, but the team would have to stick with that. And again, walking into that line, not really getting the hold of that ball, trying to cut it.
I think the confidence is gradually coming back. The point is, how soon can he get going? He's struggling around that off-stump area. I'm sure the coaches are watching that because he's got plenty to do around that area. And he should get a couple because I like his confidence and he's looking rock solid when he does move. But you see again, he's moved across and doesn't move that front foot to the line or pitch of the ball.
Just some technical errors there and there, I'm sure. When he gets it right, he should see this on replay. He should see this, go and watch it. That's why his life is being streamed. And you see what you are doing. Look at yourself and, make adjustments with your coach. Field setting, changing. There's a deep square leg being employed by Becky. A lovely, lovely drive there. Would it go all the way? Got in that gap. Lovely shot from Isari as he got into the rope. Brilliant chase by that fielder. Lovely cover drive there, Andy.
This is a class act. Just look at it again. Stand and deliver. And it's unfortunately that heavy outfield didn't get this one through. But trust me, looks like that went all the way. The umpires just perhaps didn't pick that one. That would have been an amazing boundary for him. But again, he's gotten two from that and gradually playing himself into the game. He's seen 16 deliveries and only scored 3 runs. Brings us to the end of the 5th over and it's 17 for no loss. On this partnership, perhaps might set things up for batters yet to bat, but won't stay this way if Peter keeps dotting away. You want to be sure that you are in a good position while trying to defend what you put on the board.
Yeah, change of bowling from the pavilion end. And Rennet will be called on. A lanky young man, fine bowler. And all the way, Chima wasting no time, going over that cover fielder. One bounce trickling into the boundary for 4.
Clearly, when you see such execution, you clearly know this man means business. That front foot, up his drive, he finds that gap. Chima now enjoying himself. He stayed long enough. 15 deliveries already, 14 on the board for him. And it's Peter who's quite slow but gradually coming through.
White ball delivered there by umpire Ramon Adelakun. Too much width on offer. Chima going after it, but ball too wide. Rennet wants to do better. He's not come on the wicket line. He's trying to bowl outside of stump. Yeah, Quick there, quick running between the wickets. Chima going for the second one, and they do make it. You have to take the first one very fast, which they did. Good running between wickets on Peter and Chima. Look at that again. Good drive. Yorkerland dug out by Chima. Very strong arms. Renette couldn't really gather that. That was close. Swing and a miss. Chima, the aggressor now, is obvious. He's changed gears. He's stepping on gas. He needs to improve on this current run rate of 4.36. And again, he's gotten that ball into that gap behind point. He knows Ukacha is not going to take him on. It's good to see this rotation of strike. And at current run rate of 4.41, projected score be 88. Central Eagles now 25 for North. 5.4 overs delivered. Sprayed that ball down the leg. Another wide ball from Renette. An additional run to that total. That's been slowly, gradually picking up. Full toss, would not get into the gap. Chima not maximizing that full delivery. Just getting a single off it.
Interesting to see on the partnership gradually building. He knows it. He's hungry for it. Chima looking solid there. And that loud call, Peter Iseri, to wait. That brings us to end of over number 6. The score is 27 for no loss.
Becky continuing from a cut of appeal, hand of the pitch. It's bowling to no other than Isari Peter. Another good shot there. Would only find that man in the deep. Looks good when he connects. He needs to do that more often. Andy.
Just that early butterflies in opening batters. Not sure what the bowler is going to do, but once he settles in, he seems to be connecting quite right. He's played 2 brilliant shots. My only concern is he needs to realize the foot movement at every point needs to be closer to the ball to give him that leverage. Brilliant piece of bowling. Again, we shouldn't be seeing singles like this when there's contact to the bat, with the bat and to a fielder. Fielders have to be quick enough in that inner ring to help bowlers. And fast bowlers really putting in the time and energy. They deserve to be helped.
Yeah, but I want to compliment Peter for his awareness. He was the one that scored that single because he's taking on that fielder very quickly. And they've started to, take the deserved single, waiting for that loose ball. You can get boundaries from. You need to rotate strike and keep that ball ticking.
We had a conversation yesterday with some of the bowlers, and I was wondering, in T20 cricket, what could be going on in their minds? Why do they try too hard? Why do they want to do something different when you know a batter doesn't have the ability to score on one side of the wicket? We've seen that Peter have struggled on the offside, and everyone that bowls there gets away with it. Again, that's another one. This time it's Akachuku Chima. But if you can stay consistent on that fourth stump line, they say, in T20 cricket, mostly when you know the weakness of the batter, just capitalize on that. Why try to bowl straighter when you know that's the strength? So the bowlers need to think about this. Bowl as many dot balls as possible and put the pressure on the batters and on the bench yet to bat. Last delivery of the 7th over. Let's see how Akachuku Chima responds. Oh, this time flashes it, and this will run. Will he get it here? Brilliant piece of fielding. Just a single. Now what has happened here? Opportunity for two, but Chima wants the strike, and he keeps it. End of the 7th over, 31 for no loss.
Change of bowling from the pavilion end, brings in Karim Ridwan into the attack. And it's in the air. As he got in the distance, no. Lands no man. Free guy. Lucky you there. Couldn't really undo that. Full toss by Karim Ridwan. Should maximize that, but a few dollars are in place. Deep mid wicket. Long on, long off. And again, Peter just punching that ball into the V for a single. Field setting has been spot on, denying all sorts of boundaries.
Thanks to the experience of the keeper, Sylvester Okwe. Deep square leg, deep mid wicket, long on, long off, and extra covers deep. Sneaking singles there. Akachuku Chima knows it. Just keep rotating the strike. A brilliant line. Ridwan. End of the 8th over, 34 for no loss. Certainly, there is a plan here, which we have to wait to see how this will be actualized.
And to continue from the Court of Appeal end, Ogbemudia Eweka, that short young man that bows pace, reminds me of some Malcolm Martial art height. It's a bit shorter than that, but tries to generate that pace, disturbing people with the short delivery. And Chima taking that quick single, just dabbing that ball for that quick single between the wickets. Good communication between himself and Peter. Thus far, they've been able to make sure that their team lose no wickets, keep that dugout tidy. Oh, brilliant Yorker there. You can see the reaction from that man Iweka. Just beats Peter with that pace.
Young man has got some wheels, you say. Truly, truly, with that height, you don't expect that much pace, but this is coming through the air quickly. And Peter Isari would have to find solution to these questions. Oh, brilliant dead ball. Slower delivery.
We talk about bowling variation from bowlers, walking that batter up, seeing how you can diffuse the batsman. Iweka does that very well with his variation. Comes quicker, employs the slower ball, bowls outside off stump. He's been able to vary that ball to his advantage, picking up quality dot balls. Gotten 3 dot balls in this over, valuable. We say T20 dot balls are golden. And another wide ball from Iweka. And you don't try too many things. I think he's trying too many things. He's giving away 2 extras in this over. And they move to 37 for no loss after 8.4 overs delivered. Chukwuchima and Peter Isari standing tall for their team. Another quicker one there.
That's where the problem is. And pace without control becomes very difficult to manage. And perhaps if you can just fix, not trying too hard, not trying to bowl too quick, he would just find that rhythm in his bowling. Then he would be happy at the end. And 2 deliveries left. Bowled him, got his man, no answer whatsoever. Foot's nowhere near that one. Eventually, Iweka breaks through and it's Peter Isari will departs. The score is 38 for 1 from 8.5 overs.
And with that last delivery from Iweka Ogbemudia, brings us to the end of the night over. It's 38 for the loss of 1 wicket. That wicket, the wicket of Peter Isari, was bowled by that young man, Iweka. Talked about him and his varieties, bowled a couple of wides, but got back on the money and got that middle stump of Isari Peter, getting that breakthrough. Ridwan to continue from the pavilion end. Well struck by Akachuku into the V. Will take that single. The man to join Chima at the center will be Mohammed, top order batsman. Has everything to play for.
Mohamed Moshood plays his cricket with the Lagos State team and Lagos Cricket Club. Brilliant response from that first stop delivery. It's one of the potentials around the game. Goes big, just dropped short of the fielder. Playing that one and slipped. Yes, that's where you should be, Mohammed. Not trying to go leg side.
Deft touch from Akachuku Tima. Finds that man at Goli. Mohammed saying no. He ain't taking any risky runs here. He should grind. Grind they are doing right now. In the slot again. We'll get one from that. Chima.
That's the end of the 10th over. It is 42 for the loss of 1. It's that man Peter Isari, and we'll be having our usual drinks break.
Back into this exciting game after drinks. Central Eagles, after 10 overs, 42 for 1. Slow start, but steady. 10 overs is enough to add 100 plus onto this total on the board. At the center to continue, Chima Akachukwu. And waste no time cutting that ball towards third man region. Running between wicket, taking the first one fast. Throw not powerful enough. Made his ground. 2 runs taking off that first delivery after water. Shows the intent. Sheun Ajidagba. Thank you. Welcome back into the com box. Another fast double there. Running between wickets. Chima Akachukwu taking this one personally. He's been saddled with the responsibilities of opening the batting. The absence of Salim Salahu being felt heavily here. Brilliant delivery again from Iweka. Difficult customer to come by. I've told you, he's gotten varieties, a lot of varieties in his arsenal. He uses them quite often. He gets a lot of results. I've not seen him employ the short ball today. Very thinking bowler. In the air, Chima uppercut, finding gap, but not finding the boundary ropes. Like I said, much credit should be given to the captain of this side, the Central Eagles. Field setting is spot on, reduced. You can see that again on replay. Lovely, lovely shot by Akachukwu Chima. Quick, strong arms, return that ball for just a single.
Thank you very much, the duo of Endurance of Fame and Olumide Ajao, for taking us thus far into the 11th over. And we have to say that the absence of those two, Prosper Hussaini, an all-rounder, with the ball, and the bat, as well as Salim Salau, wicket keeper, an opening batter, was going to be a big problem. Eleven overs gone into the 12th over, 48 for 1. Karim is coming from the pavilion end into the 12th over. Plays it up and looks more like His day in the sun is gone. Becky Mubarak gets the wicket of Chima Akachukwu, who has batted from ball one up until this moment. Chima is not their traditional opener, but owing to exigencies, they have to deploy him, and you have to say that he tried his best possible, batting from the first ball up until this moment where he lost his wicket. And what a perfect time for Peter to come and do his thing, the fall of a wicket.
I mean, the runs are pretty low for the Central Eagles. They really should have been at a higher point at this point of the game. Peter Isari is still yet to pick up form in the most important period, and we very well are familiar with the Northern Lions game, with how they can be explosive in the second inning, especially when there's very little pressure on them. A team that is looking for that very much needed rematch against the Middlebelt Tigers. If they should go on to win this game, Central Eagles have a lot to do. Peter Ahu, not surprised to see him coming quite early in the batting order. That is a by runner. They will settle for, would have gone to the boundary ropes after nicking the bottom end of the bat.
Can they do two? It looks risky, and that would have been a risky way to be out. What was the duo of Moshood and Peter thinking? That was very risky.
Yeah, desperate time calls for desperate measures, and that is one of them. The runs certainly are very low for the Central Eagles, and they understand that they really need to pull more runs than what we currently see on the board.
This is match 17 in total, but Eliminator 2, the difference between this game and the game we saw, Peter, in the morning, is the fact that that winner progressed straight to the final, and this has to go through a long route. Whoever wins here will still go and face the Middlebelt Tigers. And I'm worried a bit for the Middlebelt Tigers. From a team that finished top, you could eventually not even qualify for the final at all.
Yes, I mean, that last game was, I would say, took me by surprise given the form of the Northern Lions. But again, it is something that happens. A game of cricket does not, a team's, Arsenal does not insinuates how the team performed, as there has been a lot of major upsets, not just here, but in the sport as a general, and we are very familiar with that. The Northern Lions picking up that surprising win against the Middlebelt Tigers. Even the Elephant picked up that surprising win against the Northern Lions. So today's result, any team that certainly does win this game will be capable of giving a fight to the Middlebelt Tigers.
And that game immediately will come up tomorrow. That's the extra game that the Southern Sharks were avoiding. The Middlebelt Tigers also wanted to avoid such a game, but unfortunately they were undone by some decisions that worried them. Captain Sylvester Okpe is back, bowling to Mohamed Moshood. Plays it up. Just one.
Today's performance earlier in the first eliminator has proven that you cannot write a team off because of the runs that they managed to put on the board. When the Southern Sharks went on in the first inning and only registered 82, we felt that this run should be something of a chase for the Middlebelt Tigers. A chase that proves futile as they couldn't get to that number of runs, losing by 17 runs. So it's not about just how many Central Eagles can put on the board. That will also matter. But the primary assignment will be, can the Northern Lions chase that whatever runs that the Central Eagles put on the board?
And one eventually became two. And you can see the disdain on the look of the captain talking to Okasha. How did that happen? Look at the distance I had to cover. But then that would be a story that we can even talk around. Look at the Southern Sharks. Their road to the final, rough and tough. But sometimes it's not that start that matters, but how you eventually finish. The Southern Sharks lost their first game, don't forget, and had to wait for Monday to confirm their place in the playoff when they defeated the Eastern Elephant in that rescheduled game.
Yes, a lot of teams certainly have put up interesting performances, but the most beautiful tale of them all lies with the Southern Sharks, having lost the first opening game, becoming the first team in the Nigerian Super League to lose a game, and then going on to win the second game concurrently, had 2 wins, lost their fourth game, and that very much needed victory against the Eastern Elephant was what put them in the position that they are in now, and that is becoming the first team to qualify for the finals of the Nigerian Super League.
First to lose and first to get to the final. What a story that is. I'm loving that line. And we are back into the game. We're getting into the 14th over, but after the 13th over, 58-2. Low total. Very, very low total by all standard. While I understand that in cricket, anything can happen, and it's a game of probability. Up in the air, and it's gone. Eweka Ogbemudia does the job. Eweka Ogbemudia does that job. And Mohamed Moshood, after facing 13 balls with 6 runs just scored, will have to take a walk.
I can't believe he bought into that temptation of Ridwan Abdulkarim. He's done that previously. Did that to Akachuku Chima, and Moshood is another victim. The Central Eagles, not enough runs on the board with number of balls faced and number of wickets lost in that process. Should do better, but who can blame them? They've lost all their most important players. You have the likes of Bakshaw, who is absent today, and the most informed batter that was topping the batting chart all through the tournament up until Monday, Selim Salau, also not in the squad. So they have a lot of absent players, important players are absent. Taiwo Mohammed wasn't present when the Eastern Elephant leaded him the most in the final group encounter for that playoff against the Southern Sharks. And they could also tell Bakshaw at some point was missing, and my correction, Egusa at some point was missing for the Middlebelt Tigers. They felt his absence. Important players have not really been available, and teams are feeling that the Central Eagles are the latest victim of those situations.
I don't want to be in the shoes of Ademola Onikoyi alongside Friday Udo on the loss of some of these players. I kept saying that cricket is about probability, and when you play Ludo, the dice, the probability of scoring 6 in a dice is 1/6. For those of you who do probability. And you look at Selim Salau, to be honest, he has only had one good game. And that one good game was against the Eastern Elephants, where he scored 83 runs off 61 balls. But don't forget, he was dropped thrice. That's an opportunity presented to Karim Ridwan, Emmanuel Oche Boniface. He couldn't get there on time. That could have been bowled and caught. Reminiscent of what we saw of David Ankra presenting the ball back to Danladi Isaac in a very difficult fashion. And I recall after that game prior to the toss, I saw at the center the high performance manager and the coach of the national team of Nigeria, the man who was unveiled yesterday, Stephen Maziva Mangongo, the man from Zimbabwe. He was in a state of awe about the catch of Danladi Isaac. He said what thrilled him the most was that impossible hand that made him catch that ball. The balance he had to put into it made him fall in love with that catch, and he said he was really the game changer because the wicket of Sulaiman Rushewe, that run out, as well as the wicket of David Ankra, made things safe for the Southern Sharks. But back to the game, 14 overs gone. Okpai Sylvester is still in search of his first wicket. Bowling to Peter Orr. It's a captain's battle. The captain of the Northern Lions bowling to the captain of the Central Eagles. Played it up. He tried to dive, but just one. They need to up the ante. They need to score runs if they hope to defend it in the second innings. Like they say, no run is not defendable, but there are some runs that you look and say, this is a low total, and the other team will not take much time to achieve such.
I can agree less with you on that one, Ajidagwa. I mean, if you look back at how the league process was going, the first loss that Central Eagles suffered was in the hands of the Northern Lions, and that was the first time that they were entering the field. The only time that they will go into the field chasing in all of their four of their last 5 games in this Nigerian Super League, they've taken to the bat first. Only once they field first, and that was against this same Northern Lions.
Up in the air, a catching opportunity, and the catch taken. Oche Boniface is angry, but they are not concerned about his annoyance. They don't care. All they care about is go back and meet your teammates, let another batter come in, and let's get on with the game. That was a good catch there. See that again on replay. Played it up.
You can tell just how much he wanted to remain there and contribute with the bat for the team. And that is wicket loss. He knows what it means to the rest of the batting order and how much pressure that the Central Eagles are on now, given how many they've only be able to register on the board. And knowing just how well the Northern Lions are with the bat, it will prove a very impossible task for not just the bowling side, but the entire field.
You saw how Karim caught that ball. He caught it like there was no stress in it, and almost immediately threw the ball back and turned away. This is what they call air of arrogance. See it. I just caught it. There's no big deal. Let the game just continue. I'm talking about air of arrogance. One of our sponsors is Airs Energy. We'd like to say a big thank you to you all. Dafabet, Rusa Advisory, Ganho Investment Limited, EMR Mining Limited, Sego Family Foundation. But more importantly, big shout out to the sanctioning by the Nigerian Cricket Federation for this tournament to hold under the leadership of Una Uyosanu Sawaru Akpata, President, Nigerian Cricket Federation. We are done with the 15th over 63 for 4. The projected score is 84. With that 84, for a 20 overs game, it will almost make the game safe for the Northern Lions. Ifeanyi Ubo has faced one ball, but yet to score any run. Abdul Ganiu Ayinla is coming from the pavilion end into his first over, but more importantly, the 16th over of this entire game. Threatening Ifeanyi Ubo in the batting crease. Foolish ball in the nature, the way that ball was full, but Ifeanyi Ubo could not dispatch appropriately, and all will be just a single run. No run there for Captain Peter Hall of Ukasha Isiaku, fielding at backward of point. Plays the ball, but it will just be one run. Isaac Oyengba fielding in that region, and debarring any extra run. Ayinla wants to get this done as quickly as possible. Keeps him away from Ifeanyi Ubo. And that has brought us to the end of the 16th over, 66 for 4. Ifeanyi Ubo has faced 4 balls and scored just 1 run. Peter Hall has faced 11 and scored 9. Something has to change, Peter, for us to have a dramatic second innings.
Yeah, I couldn't really agree more with you. The Central Eagles really need to put up more of a fight and more of a competition and make going into the second innings much difficult for the Northern Lions, a side that we know are very efficient with the bat, had a narrow loss against the Eastern Elephants, and also they was a surprising defeat as well to the Middlebelt Tigers, even though we are not ruling anything out, but the margin of defeat was something more of a surprise. And the Northern Lions, just as we know them, will pick momentum from that feat and go on knowing that a final, a possibility of a rematch against the Middlebelt Tigers can occur if only they can secure the win. And the Central Eagles, on the other hand, a team that has narrowly picked up victories in this tournament. There are 3 victories, all came at narrow results: 1 run, 2 run, and as well as 3 runs. Plays it off the front foot, it does, and drives it all the way down to Ridwan Abdulkarim, who was perfectly placed at the long off Becky Mubarak. Seems to have found his rhythm now in the game against the Middlebelt Tiger. He was extremely exploited getting played. Did not get the chance to bowl against the Middlebelt Tigers, my corrections, because he had been getting exploited one time too many, and now he's back in the most important part of the game, and he's doing very fine. Flicks it to the leg side as they will settle for 1 run, as the strike is starting to be consistently rotated between the duo of Ubo Ifeanyi and Peter Aho.
One thing is clear, except a miracle happens, what Peter Aho wants, see that again. That is that catch that took out Emmanuel Oche Boniface. The other Boniface is through to the final. Peter wants to do two, and they should be able to do that too. And they get the two. Like I said, except a miracle happens, what Peter all wanted, they might not be getting. Was talking to me about 120 runs. But this 120 runs is looking like an inordinate ambition. Daniel allowed that one extra run to happen. Just one single run. And good pick up there from jersey number 14. They are trying to tick the box and score off every run. Becky Mubarak.
One of the best bowling economists he's had in this tournament, with 6.44, averaging 19.33 in as many overs being bowled. He has bowled 9 overs coming into this match and only 3 wickets to boast for that. Very beautiful economy and reasonable tangible runs being given out in those number of overs. We need that wicket as much as this team. If you quickly look at the batting order, only 2 batters have posted double figures. Peter Isari on 7 for 26. Akachukwu on 30, getting caught in the ring by Karim Ridwan. Mohamed Moshood also a victim of Ridwan save hands. And Bimane Oche Boniface also a victim of Ridwan save hands. Peter O on 14 of 15. And Ifeanyi Ubu still 2 of 6. Newly coming in for Emmanuel Oche Boniface. And hasn't taken to the bat as Peter O has had to take charge. Only 11 extras on the board, which means that from the 73 runs that the Central Eagle has, 62 have only been able to come off their bat. That tells you that they've not really been engaging with in terms of combating the ball already into the last 3 overs, and they really need to push these runs into 3 digits and see if not win this game, prolong the game for as long as they possibly can.
But what they are currently doing, which is 4.29, means that the projected score will be some 14 runs short of 100. And that might not be too good for the Central Eagles as they get to go into the second innings. Abdul Ghani Ayinla is back again. He played the ball, but the bat left his hand in a very comical way. Captain Peter Orr expected the ball to travel that far, but unfortunately it was the bat that traveled. No run there.
Of the front through that ball was successfully driven, but there is a few that in the deep as the Bandits are not forthcoming for the Central Eagles, and they are trying to complement with that by running in between the wickets as frequently as they possibly can, even though even that seems to be a hassle. And Peter Aho wanted to go big, has missed the timing on that shot, seeing his bill dislodged, and halfway into the batting order, of the Central Eagles. The Northern Lions have successfully taken another wicket. If not surprised to see, it is the wicket of Peter Hu, the skipper.
Big worry for the Central Eagles. Up until this moment, see that again on replay. How Captain Peter Hu lost his wicket. It looks like this eagle might not fly and will have to stay on the ground. We see eagle soar. Can this eagle, with this runs on board, soar above the lion? Only time will tell. But from what is before us, after 17.4 overs, 75 for 5 is the story that we are talking about as far as Eliminator 2 is concerned. In comes Karim Ayoku.
Nice to see Adogani pick up his first wicket of the tournament. He's only had one bowling inning. 1 over is only bowled in this tournament, and that was in the opening day's fixture against the Southern Sharks, restricting them to just 4 runs and no wickets taken. Since then, he has missed. He wasn't present in the next 2 subsequent matches, came in as the 12th man in the following match, and on the final game against the Middlebelt Tigers, he didn't get the opportunity to bowl. But it's nice to see him come back into the team, pick up the ball when it is most needed, and pick up all wicket as well.
12 more good balls to bowl for us to come to the end of the first innings of Eliminator 2. Ifeanyi Ubo is on 25% strike rate, facing 9 balls, scoring 3 runs. Karim Ayoku is on 100% strike rate, 1 ball faced, 1 run scored. And all to play for.
Only Chima Akachukwu has gotten balls beyond that boundary ropes in this batting innings for the Central Eagles. With 2 fours, no other batter has even come close to getting 1 to complement Chima Akachukwu's top form. 30 off 36 delivery, and they only have 76. And out of those 76, 11 are extra. So if you take out the extra, that puts them at 65. You take out Peter Akachukwu's 30, that is 35 runs. They haven't really, all 4 other wickets combined, haven't really done more with the bat in terms of adding run for the Central Eagles, which at this point of the game was the most important, given that any loser right now doesn't have that chance at the final like the Eliminator 1, where the loser of the first game still gets another lifeline of shooting for the finals. Put it on the leg side, that would be a bye. Karim Ayoku's bat didn't make contact with the ball, but certainly it does take him off the strike and put Ifeanyi Ubo in that position of going for the pace. The pace bowler Ubo to the bowler all-rounder Ifeanyi Ubo. Good decision to try and bring yourself out, because you know just how much of a bounce are always behind Becky Mubarak's ball, and he tried to block on that and could only drive it 4-1. 5 wickets at hand, 9 balls left to be played. It is about time for the Central Eagles to bring out everything in their arsenal. Took Karim Ayoku there by surprise, didn't expect that ball. Expected Becky Mubarak to come with his usual, and Becky Mubarak, a variety bowler, I like to call him. Putting that ball, hitting it hard on the deck and just close to the helmet, giving him a small leather condition for Karim Ayoku, the batter, who is yet to go beyond the 1 run. nicks it to the leg and no space to add to one. The field is already feeling satisfied. They've not been put to that much of a test since taking out the wicket of Peter Aho.
Run out. Opportunity. Got in. What were these two doing? And you can hear Karim saying to Ifeanyi, what have you done to me? Why did you run? But that was comical. I would love to see it again so as to know who to apportion the blame. See the look on Ifeanyi's face. Did I tell you to run? Did I tell you to run? What's chasing you? What's chasing you? See it again. He just took off. Where are you going to, Karim? Only Karim can explain. And then the conversation started.
Karim Ayoku trying to put that blame on Ifeanyi Ubu, but he is the one that could have waited. That ball was, first of all, a wrong call if he had made the call, and a wrong attempt at the run, because that ball was still within the reach of the wicket keeper. You are in no position to take that risk. It is not the final over. There are still 7 more legit balls to be played. 6 balls currently of legit balls to be played. Should have waited to come on strike in the following over. He feels it's been wrong, but from the looks of things, he made the wrong call, and he had suffered the consequences of his decision.
All right, see that again on replay. The way Karim took off, it's as if he was called from the pavilion that had just come. And you see, trying to make you understand, in comes the next batter, Samson. Oh, sorry. That's not Samson. Oladejo Emmanuel. 19 overs gone into the final over. Okasha.
Bullseye for Okasha and the Northern Lions. Not surprised to see that wicket fall already into the tail end where the experience is less. And Okasha, a top bowler, is capitalizing on that opportunity.
See that again on replay. Okasha didn't really need to stress himself, having a good bowling spell. And you see, when you look at things like this, you just remember the conversation that happened between Sir Chris Shokoya, one of the players who came from United Kingdom back then. He was batting with Musbah Ajayi, and by virtue of his accent, he said, your call was what he said. But Musbah thought he's saying, your call, that is, let's take one, and eventually ran him out. And up until this day, Sir Chris Shokoya said, Musbah, you ran me out. And Musbah said, I thought you used the Nigerian language, your call, let's take one. But he didn't get the memo that he was saying, your call. And this is Waris being dropped further downwards.
Good stroke played by Waris. That was a chance for a run. I'm surprised nobody was taking that. Too many run-outs, too many caught as well. And now there's a sense of fear in the remaining batters for the Central Eagles. Nobody wants to be at the receiving end of the blame, and Waris and Ifeanyi Ubu will just see out this over, this inning, with just 3 balls left to be played. To the leg side, he plays that ball. There wasn't enough power behind it to race all the way to the boundary. but he was in the open space of the field where they could get one run. If I Ubo is on strike with 2 more balls to be played.
I don't envy Captain Peter or neither do I envy Coach Anolo Nikoi and Friday Udo. Based on these runs, looks paltry for a T20 game. Up.
Honestly, I didn't know if I had that in his arsenal, and he's bringing it at this point of the game where it could have exploded earlier. If I had been taking singles and given that it's just 1 ball, 2 balls that were remaining, I was surprised to see he had that kind of shot. But it's better late than never. They say every run surely does count. They caught it, but doesn't cut it anywhere. As only 1 run they will have to manage. And the first inning certainly does come to an end. Only 83 the Central Eagles could register in 120 balls available.
And you can imagine that they had a Prosper Hussaini and a Salim Salau. We could have been singing a different song by now. But it's quite unfortunate that those duo are missing, as well as Happy Backshaw, who I'm sure was not happy with this tournament by virtue of his performance. And that is how things end. Big shout out to our 2 on-field umpires, Umpire Tao Aladijoye and Ramona Dilakun. Central Eagles, 83 runs for loss of 7 wickets. And let me tell you how the match summary ended. Chima Akachuku, 30 runs from 36 balls. Peter O, 15 from 17 balls he faced. Peter Isari scored just 7 from 26 balls. And for bowling, Karim Ridwan, 2 wickets for 15 runs in 4 overs. Okasha Isiaku, 1 wicket for 8 runs in 3 overs. And Okpa Sylvester, 1 wicket for 17 runs in 4 overs. That's how things end. I will be back for the second innings. The brief is simple for Northern Lions to square up against the Middlebelt Tigers for a place in the final. They will be needing 84 runs in 20 overs after doing their own part of the bargain in the first innings, reducing their opponent to 83 runs for loss of 7 wickets in 20 overs. You can see the two on-field umpires on the field. Umpire Ramona Delakun and umpire Taiwo Ladunjoye. And both Central Eagles and the two opening batters for the Northern Lions walk into the field. Peter has his work cut out if he hopes to take this team to the semi-final, where they will be slugging it out with Middlebelt Tigers, who lost today by 17 runs against the Southern Sharks, who are through to the final. I'll be waiting for whoever will be their opponent. Come Saturday, all other things being equal, you have to put that English into context. Because like I said, our biggest sponsor at this tournament has to be God Almighty, who ensures that we always have games go on as scheduled, except for some few days. And if you look at how this tournament was scheduled during this period, where heavens usually come down, and you look at the number of reduced overs we have had, juxtaposing it with the full complement of the 20 overs that we have played, then you know we have every reason to say, Baba God, we are deeply appreciative of this opportunity to see cricket game go ahead as planned. The two opening batters for the Northern Lions will have their work cut out. Jersey number 13, Osana 43, I beg your pardon, Osana Omonkobio, and Elijah Saturday, Jimmy on a Thursday. Osana is the striker. Peter Hall is the opening bowler for the Central Eagles. Swing and a miss. The start that Peter hopes for. And I'll also be starting with another Peter. But here at the commentary position, Peter Oladoshu.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Ajidagba. The Northern Lions know what is at hand, what is necessary, and the Central Eagles also understand how much effort they have to do in terms of cleaning out this whole task. The first run of the inning will come off an extra given by the skipper himself, Peter O, taking that ball behind Uzana Mokohu. Moko hasn't been able to replicate, was only able to get close to his match day one form, where he scored 30 and 24 with the game against the Middlebelt with 34 of 27. Hasn't gotten in double figure in 3 of 5 matches played. This match surely does count for it, and he will need to add those runs on the board.
See that again on replay. That was very close. The wicket keeper today is wicket keeping for the very first time, thanks to the absence of Salim Salah, who is their traditional wicket keeper. But that does not mean This man standing behind the stumps does not know how to wicket keep, but the opportunity has not presented itself. And that's Mohamed Moshood, the captain of the Center for Excellence, Team Lagos, at the 22nd National Sports Festival hosted by the state that opens the gate for everybody to come in, the Gateway State. And ladies and gentlemen, it's gone. Osana would have to walk and looking into the high heavens and saying, "Oh Lord, where would my help come from?" The help will not come from you, but will come from other batters if they do the job. See that again on replay, Peter. I need you to explain what happened to Osana.
It is the second time Osana is getting out without registering a single run on the board. He has not been directly trying to combat the balls, as balls that is found difficult. He's taking himself and his face away, not looking that ball into the bat and not seeing that lead swing of that ball, and he has had to pay that very big price.
Balogun Daniel is the new batter. The replay again. Thank you, producer, as I'm also thanking you in anticipation of what is expected of you to do. At backward of point, it was very easy for Karim Ayoku to just pick that left hand batter. Balogun Daniel has an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in the mind of the captain, Sylvester Okwe. He's one of the players who got an opportunity to play today. Don't forget, Akere Isesele yesterday suffered illness. We are grateful he's back, but had to rest. And Miracle Solomon, there was no miracle he could perform other than for him to be on the bench today. And now there's an opportunity for Balogun Daniel to show why the captain entrusted him with the bats. To the side of the ribs, and he had to shake it off to say, in the words of Two-Face Idibia, innocent, nothing there happened. Much better delivery from Peter, starting out things from that place where people like to appeal, the Lagos High Court, and we call it the Court of Appeal End. One more good ball to be bowled, and that will have brought us to the end of the first over. Balogun registering his name as one of those players who at least has scored a run. And Peter, you have to say that after the first over, 1 wicket, 2 runs, this is the best bowling spell of Peter or your namesake.
Yeah, he does understand the task at hand, and that is trying to keep the runs as very minimal as possible. He started off with a great start, keeping the runs below the required 4.32, and remains to see if the rest of the bowling order can complement him. I mean, they have capable hands like Ifeanyi Ubo and Akachukwu Chima, and they've proven it one time too many. Let's not leave out the spinners, Oche, Boniface, and Aziz Waris, who with that ball, they are very fine-tuned in terms of keeping those batters at bay, and they would need to use all of that now if they want to progress to that elimination round where they had to face the Middlebelt Tiger. Only one winner here will face the Middlebelt Tiger for the final slot into the finals.
Ifeanyi Ubo has a task at hand, and that is to get wickets as well as make things very uncomfortable for the batters. And ladies and gentlemen, all Daniel had to do after getting bowled is to prostrate and probably salute that bowling of Ifeanyi Ubo, who I said understands the brief, and emulating his captain, Peter Orr. See that again on replay. Immediately that wicket was gotten, and he just said, "Thank you." Now comes Isaac Oyengba. Did we speak too soon? 2 out of 2. 1.1 overs gone. What is going on? That is the question everybody's asking. Isaac Oyengba has not had a good game. This is an opportunity for him to do so. Two balls bowled, no run, aside from a wicket. It just seems like Central Eagles know that they didn't score too many runs and they need to fight for everything. They want to work with the wickets. They don't want to work with the balls, because if you look at it, they need 82 runs in 112 balls. It's quite a lot, so they want to work with the wickets. Full on offer, and ball goes to the boundary. Peter Orr just accompanies the ball to the boundary.
The last time we saw a team lose this number of wickets quite early in the game, they went on to lose it. I'm talking about the Middlebelt Tigers, and the Northern Lions have already lost 2 wickets. They cannot afford to lose any more. The compliments of that ball, Ifeanyi, putting that ball at a shot on good length, hitting it hard and in the space for Isaac Oyengba to hit beyond the boundary ropes for that much needed boost in the runs that the Northern Lions are. Imagine having to lose 2 wickets already and only having 2 runs as a compensation. Better bowling by Ifeanyi Ubo coming this time around, keeping it on a good length, and that ball do the talking. In the gloves of the wicket keeper, it did end as there was no runs taken off that ball. Northern Lions are very much desperate, need to boost up these runs, although they are at a ball advantage, having the ball's available advantage than runs needed given the efficiency of their bowling. And if I is even becoming much more threatier to the batting order of the Northern Lions.
That was close. Isaac Oyengba will have joined the growing list of batters who have lost their wickets. But he had to survive that scare, and he will continue to bat.
Not buying into that temptation, Isaac, as that lofted slow delivery was meant to be played, but he understood what Ifeanyi's intentions were, and it declined. 2 overs have been completed. The Northern Lions have 6 on the board and have lost 2 wickets in the process.
Only 2 players in this tournament history got 3 wickets in a single over. One, Chima Akachukwu, in the game between the Central Eagles and the Middlebelt Tigers. And the other one had to be Taiwo Mohammed in the game between the Eastern Elephants and the Western Dolphins. Elijah yet to face any ball. The opportunity has presented itself. That was that bowling from Peter Hall. The start of his second over. Kept it away from Elijah.
Much better bowling by the skipper. 2 balls, 2 dots. After only giving out 2 runs in his first bowling over, Peter Hall. There is a necessity in communications by the batter. They need to get the runs taken, because when the balls available becomes on par with balls or more wickets at the sludge, it is going to take a whole new turn, and the Northern Lions cannot afford to lose a grip on the match that is currently in their gloves. That short delivery will come at a cost, and it is another wicket. And I just talked about it. Really need to get that run sticking. That short pitch delivery couldn't be dislodged by Elijah Jimmy, as that ball nicking the edge of the bar, flying in the air and giving the wicket keeper a task which is successfully accomplished. A much needed wicket for the Central Eagles, and they have already taken 3 wickets. Looking at that ball again, Jimmy could have let that ball go, but didn't get the right angle in time to dislodge that ball beyond the boundary ropes and just outside of the 30-yard circle, which was giving a chase back the wicket keeper, and that wicket is a boost in momentum for the Central Eagles.
Mohamed Moshood deputizing for the regular Salim Salau, who has gone to write examination, same as Prosper Hussaini, and he's doing that job very well. See it again with that 360 turn and the opportunity of wearing the gloves made it the much easier for him to keep it in that safe hands. Abdul Ghani Ayinla is in They never bargained for this. 2.3 overs gone, 3 wickets down, 6 runs on board. Does it seem like the Northern Lions Abdul Ganiu Ayinla will have a feel of Peter Howard's bowling. This is not where they want to be, but that is where the Eagles has kept the Lions. Good over from Peter. One more good ball to be bowled. And that will bring us to the end of the third over.
There is that wicket of Elijah Jimmy, and that was a very happy moment for the Central Eagles, knowing just how much it is very important taking out all those wickets. If they say they want to take this game down the wire, it is a very huge risk, as any boundaries could see those runs quickly deflate, and they don't want that. They want to keep this game as tidy as possible. It was supposed to be one more ball to end the third over, but that will prolong, given that extra being bowled by the skipper, Peter O. And that one more ball will be rebowled. We'll look to end this in style, talking Peter O. The first run is gotten in this second over of S. Didn't give out any run off the bat, a wicket off the third delivery, and what could have been a beautiful end to is over, as seen him give out one free run, muchly pleasing all of the Northern Lions.
And it's gone. And it's gone. Abdul Ganiu is asking, what have you done to me? What has been done is that you have lost your wicket and you just have to go. What is happening to the Lions? Is it a case of their inability to roar? See that again. It didn't take long before that index finger of umpire Taiwo Mohammed went up. And now, your guess is as good as mine. Captain Fantastic will have to step in to go and bat. Isaac Okwe. Sylvester Okwe, I beg. See that again. Big question is, how will the Northern Lions respond to this slump in wickets? 4 wickets down, and they have just scored 8 runs. They need 76 runs in 99 balls. If there's anything that will happen, it has to come down to the captain to play captain's innings and probably take his game home. I mean, take the team home to victory. Abdurrashid Okpeyemi. Ensuring it will just be one and only one. That was tempting. Delayed the ball, but Isaac didn't fall for it. He knew what he wanted to do and intelligently dealt with it. I've come to the end of the 4th over. 10 for 4. And they need 77 runs in 96 balls. 74 runs in 96 balls. This is brilliant from the captain, Peter Aho. Already has 3 wickets and just 4 runs conceded. playing his role as a captain, but he'll be bowling to another captain. Who wins the captain's battle? Is it Peter Hall with the ball, or Sylvester Okwe with the bat?
Looking for another LB there, but the appeal falls on deaf ears as no run is gotten off that ball. You have it on the replay. Certainly he was drifting away of the leg stump. And Isaac Sylvester will have another chance in the popping crease. Slow start is taken. Didn't enjoy his batting innings and the game against the Middlebelt Tiger after getting caught in the deep. Put outside of off and dislodged accordingly. Sylvester Okwe was not going to let that slide as he played it into the gap on the field. No fielder in extra covers as this is still the park play and they only restricted to two fielders outside of that 30-yard. And looking at that replay again, Peter Aho pitching short first of all, a wrong move towards Sylvester Okwe and then putting it out of offside. It was just normal and a normal day in the office for Sylvester Okwe. Another 4 runs as the runs are for that plummeted.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope the batter is all right. That will prompt the physio of the national team to come in. Umpire Ramona Dilakun is talking to the physio, and the physio knows what to ask as a question. It's a mandatory concussion test. See it again, the replay. Wow. And it seems as if they are done. The man is fine, can get another helmet, and the game can get on.
That hitting hard on the deck by Peter, who what certainly came with too much energy, as you could see just how damaged that ball had done to the helmet of Sylvester Okwe.
And you see, Peter, International Care Council, the ruling body that emphasizes on you wearing helmets to play, but not only helmets, wearing all the required equipment of cricket, know what they are saying. While it does look sometimes like some players would try to compromise the standard set, this is a good reason to say you must adhere to ICC rules and regulation. One more good ball to be bowled, and we'll have come to the end of the 5th over. 5 overs gone. It's 15 runs for loss of 4 wickets. They need 69 runs in 90 balls. It is still within their reach to return tomorrow morning and play against the Middlebelt Tigers. But Team Central Eagles will have something to say about this. They won't go down without a fight. And Peter, we saw what happened today. 13 overs allotted. 82 runs was scored by Team Southern Sharks. Was it a case of they just looked at those runs, not much of a run that we cannot surpass?
Yeah, I would say that is a mindset that they went in with, given their approach to the game, and they could have done better if you asked me. And now the Northern Lions in this very own game could have also done better. I mean, you've lost 4 wickets already with so very little runs on the board to chase, restricting the batters of the Central Eagles to 83. Job done properly by the bowlers, and now it's time for the batters to complement on that, and they haven't really been able to do just that. Comes full, and who are you bowling to but Sylvester? Picks that ball off the first bounce and gets himself 2 on the strike. The runs are ticking down for the Northern Lions, and the Central Eagles, who have already started by taking 4 wickets, will look to take the most important wicket of all, and that is the wicket of skipper Sylvester Okwe. Aziz Wariz had to give a ball for a chase, running all the way from short fine leg to square leg to pick up a ball in the empty field spacing. Right now the leg side is very empty, and the bowlers of the Central Eagles have been doing a very great job in terms of bowling to the stumps.
The end of the power play, 19 for 4. The current run rate stands at 3.17, and what is required is 4.64. They need 65 runs in 84 balls. The signal by the on-field umpire, Taiwo Oladujoye, clearly shows that that is the end of the power play, and the field will open. Okpe, Sylvester, and Isaac Oyengba both have 8 runs apiece.
comes full and sent towards the deep mid-wicket region, but there was a few that in place, and they will only settle for one run. The runs are starting to tick for the Northern Lions. It is ticking slowly, but they are at the advantage as they are needing just 60 runs of the next 79 deliveries. It was the batters of the Central Eagles that scored more in the first inning. Probably there will have been more pressure for the Northern Lions. But right now they are at the advantage. The seventh over certainly does come to an end with 24 on the board for only 4 wickets lost, which now means that the Northern Lions sit with a 60 runs needed of the next 78 ball. That is, they have 18 ball advantage to try and score and get across the finish line. Currently, strike rate is at 3.43, the requirement at 4.62.
Well, the two players on your screen, Mrekula Igbe, and the man who didn't get to play because he's just recovering, is the other twin, and that is Akere Isesele, who plays for the Northern Lions. Whatever they put on their face, I honestly don't know, but they will be fine. All right. Information reaching me. Congratulations to the duo. Mrekula Igbe, yesterday was your date of birth. What Yomi cannot do, maybe you will do. And this is the other brother. This is Odion. And that was Isesele Akere. This is Odion. And the two of them, today is their date of birth. What a perfect way to play in the final. And he'll be hoping that his brother can meet him in the final. Appeal by Adebayo Samson. But that ball went for 4 from what looked like I have gotten a wicket to ball going for 4. I love the drama of Adebayo Samson. Looks like acting an home video. See that again on replay. See. You can feel Adebayo Samson, the pain that comes with my first ball. I got that wicket, and the ball now eventually went for 4. He has to pick himself up.
I think Adebayo Samson felt very confident that that ball was going to the wicket if there wasn't a contact, and he was left disappointed with that decision by the umpire, and that also came at a price. And another wicket has been lost. Didn't get the out. Wasn't given the out that he earlier requested, and now a wicket has fallen for the Northern Lions. Not the OBW, but certainly another dismissal. And 5 wickets have already been lost by the Northern Lions as they look to chase down 83 runs.
Peter, I know you have a lot of retentive memory. Can you also recall that there was also a game where Isaac Oyengba and Sylvester were batting, and Isaac also got run out by the same Sylvester?
Yes, I very much actually do remember. And Isaac had to take charge in that game before losing his own very own wicket. And now that wicket has seen Ridwan Abdul Karim coming at number 6 to bat. There is that run out attempt, which was actually The Central Eagles are wanting to take this game to down the very end, halfway into the batting order. But the bigger crisis still remains, and that is Sylvester Okwe, who is still in the batting crease at the moment. A little bit of hesitation, but Ridwan was already approaching and called for the single, which Sylvester Okwe grudgingly accepted, but they will add one more run. 54 is not what they need of the next 74 balls, meaning that they sit with a 20-ball advantage. But the Central Eagles know the task at hand and will look for the other half. After getting halfway into the mid-batting order, they will get that other half. If they have to, they would look for it. And if they get that before the runs or remaining overs are allotted, they will see themselves fight for one more place to the finals. Should they eventually beat the Middle Belt Tigers, they will join the Southern Sharks in the finals. But the Middle Belt Tigers have another lifeline going into that finals, and I would not expect them to allow it slip past their hands.
And that is the coach of the Northern Lions, Sheye Olympio, having a conversation with some of his players, the likes of Okasha. No run there. Sheye Olympio talking to them. That's Becky Mubarak. Okasha is there. And he's talking to them that, guys, you must bring this home. 8 overs gone, 30 runs for loss of 5 wickets. They need 54 in 72 balls. In the light of that, there are still more birthday shout-outs that I need to do. Big birthday shout-outs. But before then, the LB big birthday shout-out to the man representing South on the board of the Cricket Federation, and also the team manager of the historic under-19 female team to Malaysia, Femi John, Honorable. Big shout-out to Mr. Abayomi Yinka, they call him Kolonjo. Happy birthday to Chima Kachuku, who is on the field playing, and he will want the best birthday gift. And of course, the man whose tournament that has ended, Daniel Agiekum, the man who runs the AJ Cricket Hub. Happy birthday to all of you. That's the man, the birthday boy, Chima Kachuku. From all of us here at the Comms Box, you did well with the bat. Your team will be hoping that you can do well with the ball.
Certainly was drifting down the leg as the umpire confirms it with that nod. Swing is there. Akachuku will appeal for anything that comes in contact with the pads. Still had to get himself off strike with one Abdul Karim, and does that right now, punching that ball towards long off, sending Sylvester Okwe on the strike. And Akachuku Chima will look for that first wicket that is still yet to get in this match, and he will look for it in Sylvester Okwe's corner. Very bold stop. Went down, making that ball all the way from point, making sure that ball did not give a chance for a second. And Ridwan Abdul Karim is on strike just after a ball
Karim is gone. Perfect birthday gift. The former captain of Ibejuleki Cricket Club bowls the current captain of Ibejuleki Cricket Club 1. What a story. I love this line. It looks like the kind of tales you see in Chino Achebe. Things fall apart. That's what is happening to the Northern Lions. And how about this story? Chima bows Karim. What a line. Beautiful bowling. Excellent bowling. Renet Osage has come on. The captain of Government College, Ugeli. Newly promoted team. These two have to bat their way, or else, if they get to lose this game, Peter, it will have meant Northern Lions raced into 3-0 and eventually suffered 3-0. They will have lost 3 straight matches after winning 3 straight matches.
Not the direction intended, but that ball travels behind the wicket keeper and not enough energy to go to the boundary ropes, and they will settle for 2 runs. Renet on strike to complement Sylvester Okwe, who has struggled to build a batting partnership with any batter thus far.
That is a perfect birthday gift. Taking that off stump. And I love the posture of Karim Ridwan. Made that bowling look the more beautiful. 9 overs gone, 35 runs for a loss of 6 wickets. Nobody ever envisaged this. In our head, we already thought scoring 83 runs in 20 overs will just be adequate for the Northern Lions to come in the second innings and do the damage. But that did not happen, as they are making it difficult for the Northern Lions. Reynald Osage has to form a partnership with Okwe Sylvester. Samson Adebayo. Into that over that will take us to drinks break. He's trying to arrange his field. Slows the ball, but well read by Renet. And the sloppy fielding gives room for 1 extra run. Waris fumbled that ball. That should have been 1 run because Okwe Sylvester was a bit careful not to do what he did to Isaac, to Renet. Both of them are on 100% strike rate, 4 from 4 for Renet, 16 from 16 for Sylvester.
The Central Eagles have a knack of taking the game down to the very end and winning by narrow margins. They haven't really boasted a big win, winning 1 match They're winning by 1 run on 2 separate occasions, and then the last game where the one against Western Dolphins, winning that by 6 runs. Done a very fantastic job in keeping Rennet in the batting crease as we are halfway into the innings with 38 of 60 deliveries with 6 wickets already dislodged.
And see, that is the team manager, the regional development officer here in Lagos, Friday Udo, talking to Chima Akachukwu on what he needs to do to bring the game home for the Central Eagles. And the current run rate stands at 3.80, and what is required is 4.60. See that on your screen. Osana Omonkobio didn't score any run, facing 3 balls. The same thing happened to Elijah Saturday Jimmy. The same number of balls faced, didn't score any run. Balogun Daniel faced 4 balls, scored 1 run. Isaac Oyengba, 20 balls he faced, scored 10 runs. Abdullahi Ganiu, the same thing that happened to Osana Omonkobio, Elijah Saturday, is what happened to Abdul Ganiu. But Sylvester is still batting the captain, 16 runs from 16 balls. Karim Ridwan faced 5 balls, scored only 1 run, gone. Renet Osagi has faced 6 balls, scored 4 runs. Becky Mubarak here to bat. Eweka Ogbemudia here to bat. Okasha Isiaku. And so the brief is simple. For Okwe Sylvester and Renet Osagi, they must not lose their wicket if they hope to have a date with Middlebelt Tigers tomorrow. We are back from the drinks break. And Captain Peter Ao has given the ball to Aziz Baris. Karim Ayoku picks the ball and only allows 1 run. That was close. Baris turning the ball very well. That stumping by Mohamed Moshood. Wasn't approved by the square leg umpire, Ramon Adelakun. Plays it up. And it's gone. Reynet is gone. It was long coming. And finally, the chicken has come home to roast. The 7th wicket. What is happening to the Northern Lions? Are we about to witness the worst total in this tournament? From a 20 overs game.
The first round of fixtures, I'm talking about the group game where the Northern Lions picked up that win against the Central Eagles. And now it seems like they are on the losing point where it matters most.
Their coaches would definitely not be happy. You can imagine the look on the face of Coach Sheye Olympio, the assistant coach and team manager, Onome Ogenekewe. That look will not be happy. How did he get to Okasha Isiaku, who was expected to bowl wide ball and not necessarily going to go and bat? While I understand that even if you are a bowler, you must learn how to bat because you don't know when it will get to you. But to think that Northern Lions will be 41 for loss of 7 wickets, plays it up, and that's the maximum. Okpe Sylvester want to take the bull by the horn, and that's the maximum. Much needed relief.
That is a maximum boost in the runs for the Northern Lions. Look for the boundary ropes. Long enough they had. And seeing that runs to the board. Sylvester Okwe right now should just play with anyone coming in to just try and give him the strike as frequently as possible. Winner did his own part, and Sylvester, Okasha, I'm very familiar with this game, will do everything possible in making sure that board is taken once. But for now, 1 run will become 2. Will it become 3? Not a chance, as Adebayo Samson chasing that ball all the way. Corrections now, that 2 runs has become 3, back through. The wicketkeeper couldn't come back and deal with that ball, and Okasha is finally on the strike.
And the question I need to ask you, Peter, was that 1 run necessary? Because in games like this, Okpe Sylvester should be taking charge. Eleven overs gone. 9 more overs to go. 51 for loss of 7 wickets. They need 33 runs in 54 balls. Okpe Sylvester, the man who is known to take the game from the jaws of defeat to winning position, is on 26 runs for loss of 26 from 19 balls faced, and Okasha Isiaku on 100% strike rate. 1 ball faced, 1 run scored. Adebayo Samson will be back for the 12th over. And you can imagine what is going through the head of Sylvester Okwe, that Okasha, please keep your wicket. And he has played his part, trying to anchor for a more proficient batter, an elite all-rounder by our standard. Good stop there by Waris.
Was put there on purpose for Sylvester Okwe. They're very familiar with how he likes to cut the ball, and they put Waris at the goalie region because they know that Sylvester will want to exploit the space, and now he's had to have a change of momentum. Ball comes through. Adebayo Samson felt that should have been given. Sylvester Okwe not making contact at the right angle. Lucky escape for Sylvester at the Northern Lions, as any more wickets that is lost by the Northern Lions now will see this game almost unwinnable unless the tail end can't take it to the end. But as long as Sylvester is still there, there is a hope of picking up that victory.
No run from the person who bowled to the person who batted and the person who stopped the run. All three play for the league champions, Government College Ibadan Old Boys Cricket Club, Adebayo Samson, Sylvester Okwe, and Ifeanyi Ubo. Cut away. Oladejo chases that. And just one run off that ball. This has been a very good over for Adebayo Samson by all standard. Former captain of Government College Ughelli Cricket Club. First ball, one run was played off him. Second ball, dot. Third one, dot. Fourth, dot. Fifth, one run. And we are waiting for the last good ball. What would happen?
Understands the assignment. He does. Okasha trying to stay on strike for that last ball, so Sylvester Okwe can't begin the 13th over on strike. The 12th over has come to an end. 53 is what sits on the board for 7.
"31 runs in 48 balls. 12 overs gone. Okasha Isiaku batting alongside Okpe Sylvester. Both are teammates, not at club level, but at national team as well as state. They both represent Nigeria. They both played at the last West Africa Trophy Nigeria hosted. And they were both at the National Sport Festival that was hosted by Ogun State. Oladejo Emmanuel is coming into the 13th over, but more importantly, his own first over.
If there was contact of that ball, certainly it was going beyond the boundary ropes. An escape there for the Central Eagles. Will need to bowl better to Sylvester Okwe if he wants to keep the runs in the air. Would that be caught? Peter O gave the chase, and Peter O fumbles that catch. Not the man you'd expect. And it was the wicket of the player that has been the biggest threat to the Central Eagles. Lost that ball too long on, and Peter Aho was comfortably underneath it, and you would expect that that ball was already a wicket. Oladejo in awe as much as the rest of the team, I'm sure. Even the Northern Lions bench is surprised that Peter Aho will drop that catch.
The man who bowls just like Sylvester Okwe, his run up, the way he holds the ball, was thinking he could get the wicket that was going to be very precious. But I hope he will not live to regret that missed opportunity. Peter Hall would have expected that is a safe catch, but that is not it, because Sylvester will continue to bat.
White ball is that signal. Okasha has been there for 3 balls, not able to register a run up until this moment, where that run has ticked down by 1, meaning that the Northern Lions now need 29 of the next 44 legal deliveries, make that 44 still, and the run is still 1 lesser. 28 is not what is required of the next 44 delivery. Oladejo making this task even more easier for the Northern Lions, knowing fully well that Sylvester Okwe is still in the pitch. Drives it into the gap, will take it and settle for single. Okasha has been doing his own part in making sure that the runs are taken as long as Sylvester Okwe is there.
In cricket, you don't give a second life, else you live to regret it. The Eastern Elephants were also a victim of this in their game against the Central Eagles, where they had to drop Salim Salah, who is missing from this game 3 times, including what looks more like a simple catch for Jimo Abdurrahman. And he went on to score 83 runs in 61 balls. Okwe Sylvester survived an LB and a dropped catch. I hope they will not look back to regret this. And that's the man who dropped him from one captain to another captain. And both members of the national team of Nigeria. 13 overs gone, 58 for 7. They need 26 runs in 42 balls. Okasha is on 50% strike rate. Haven't faced 6 balls and scored 3 runs. Okwe Sylvester, 29 runs he has to his name from 26 balls faced. See that drop catch again. We'll continue to talk about it. And you can feel the pain of Emmanuel Oladejo. Adebayo Samson will continue from the pavilion end. No, that's not what is expected of him. Make them work for that runs with the bat and not gifting extras.
They really need to make this task difficult for the Northern Lions right now. As the runs are going down, Sylvester is still on strike, being avoided that extra life. It will certainly do take it a bit. Strikes it to the leg side, taking himself off strike. And that won't be a problem, given Okasha has been consistently rotating the strike for himself and Sylvester Okwe. 24 needed of the next 41 deliveries. Extras are to blame for this deflation in runs and balls available. Flicks it to the leg side, and Sylvester is on strike just after one ball. The runs are consistently deflating. It is not the approach that the Central Eagles need at this point of the game. They really need to keep these runs at bay, reduce the extras, get the dots more frequently. Slower delivery in the air, this time to Ifeanyi Ubo. Will he take it? Yes, it is. And Sylvester will not be awarded another lifeline. This is not Peter Ho. This is Ifeanyi Ubo. The very much needed wicket that the Central Eagles have been vying for. And that slow delivery certainly did take Sylvester Okwi off the guard.
Was that really needed? Adebayo Samson gets his teammates at club level, and it was a trident of people who know one another so well. Just like we always say that in teaching there is a tripartite. The teacher who is teaching the students must understand the subject matter. Who is the teacher now? It was Samson Adebayo. Who was the student? It was Okwe Sylvester. And the subject matter was that catch by Ifeanyi Ubo. All coming from the same club, Government College, Ibadan Old Boys Cricket Club. Another person who is in the batting crease, must have gotten a lot of pep talk from the coach, is Becky Mubarak. Another player of GCI. Adebayo Samson would like to take him as quickly as possible. And he does that! Adebayo Samson. Adebayo Samson. I would need Peter to tell me the lowest total that's been scored in this tournament. He looked around like, don't worry, but he said, you can have my wicket. And you can see immediately Okasha just dropped his bat. Adebayo Samson, if they go ahead to win this game, Central Eagles, Northern Lions, you can say they are more embarrassing than the Western Dolphins.
No, I wouldn't see it in that, given the Western Dolphins lost 5 games in a row compared to 3 losses in a row should they lose this game. But mind you, the lowest total in full 20 overs being played was posted by the Central Eagles of 67 against Northern Lions, and now the Central Eagles are looking to return the favor and even try and keep them lesser than the 67.
I have my reasons for saying that, Peter. When you look at, I know names sometimes don't play cricket, but when you look at these Central Eagles, those 2 players that are missing, Prosper Hussaini and Selim Salau, you know what they will offer you. What Selim will offer you with the bat and what he does behind the stumps. What Prosper will offer you with the bat and with the ball. And then they still go ahead to put up this kind of performance. 22 runs is required in 36 balls. That is the end of the 14th over. These are the wickets in that over. Plays it off. Ifeanyi Ubo says, I will catch it. This is me. This is me, Ifeanyi. Becky looks around. I'm aware of what is going on. But see that delivery. Yes, Ostom gets it without scoring any run. And now, Iweka Ogbemudia is on and Okasha. These two, can they make it happen? This is the last batter. Iweka on Okasha. They require 22 runs in 36 balls. What is required is 3.67, and what they are currently doing is 4.43. So it's safe to say that they are overachieving, but the wickets are tumbling. Peter Hall is back again, and he will require Mohamed Moshood to help him out and not give buys or anything extra. The heart of the coaches of Team Northern Lions will be palpitating by now, and they will hope that these two can take the game home.
Peter Hall making it easier as the runs are further deflating. 21 now needed of the next, still 35 deliveries, which means that they have 62, 63 on the board. And Okasha has to take charge right now and rotate strike with Iweka. 4.4 is the current run rate, which means that what is required is sitting at 3.60, rounding up figure up to 4. Cuts it, give a big chase, but that ball would only race for the boundary and further deflate the runs for the Northern Lions. Only 2 wickets at hand that they will need. Only this partnership is all that the Northern Lions have left, and they are looking to take this game all the way. Perfectly angled bat, setting that ball beyond the reach of the wicket keeper, and the required run rate is now sitting at 3, because what the Northern Lions now need is 17 of the next 34 delivery, and the fielder has already been fixed there, but that damage has already been done. They can only look to prevent further damages from occurring. Kazim now the fielder at the third man region, as the outfield is still very much employed. A long off in place. All fielders have already been put in, and finally the third man decision has finally paid off. A run was taken off that ball, and the runs are further deflating. 16 is what is needed now of the next 33 balls. Very minimal number of outfielders in place. A third man, a deep mid-wicket, as well as a long off. Every other fielder is fixed within the inner ring. Cuts it with that beat in the hands. No, it wouldn't, but that would give them a chance for a second run. It did his very best. No, that would be 3 runs now. That was a catch opportunity, but you can understand just how uncomfortable it was of a catch, and you can let it, but you have to understand that every moment mattered, and that chance to take that wicket that didn't happen. So the Northern Lions further take down the runs by 3, which now means that what they need is 13 of the next 32 deliveries. This game is within win for the Northern Lions, but no wickets at hand. And Iweka and Okasha will have to play it safe, as this side, a side that was dominant on top of the table for a very long time, just losing out on that opportunity to play in the Eliminator 1 against whoever finished in second place. And now they have to fight all the way. Losing this game will mean that a team that was topping the table from match day 1 will not play in the finals. And the Northern Lions will not want to be at the receiving end of the banter and mockery. What is the point of starting if you cannot finish well? And they being presented with another chance already looking in their favor, but no wickets in hand to give the batters the freedom to be explosive. Wasn't beating that extra covers. An end to the 15th over. It is 5 more overs to be bowled, 30 deliveries to come, and only 13 will be needed to send the Northern Lions to another chance at the finals.
I've seen tailenders win games. One of such was that game between Nigeria and Namibia at the Tafawa Balewa Kedowa, where Nigeria hosted the under-19. It was the tailenders that eventually won that game for Team Namibia. Can also talk about the West Indies T20 World Cup victory over England. Carlos Braithwaite and Ben Stokes, you will never forget in a hurry. And will Okasha and Iweka replicate same? They need 13 runs with 30 balls. And the two of them are having a conversation. How will it pan out? Ifeanyi Ubu has been given the chance to bowl.
The Central Eagles really do have a knack of letting the game play out onto the very end and then stealing that victory just when the opposing team feel like they have it in their hands. You can tell by the result, the goal against the Middlebelt Tigers, the result that they go against the Eastern Elephants and the Western Dolphins. Okasha caught it and gets 1 run. That boundary that they had picked off is the reason why they've decided to employ a third man. 12 runs is now needed of the next 29 deliveries, 29 legal deliveries. As long as there are no extra being bowled, then the Northern Lions will have to play with their bat. Much slower approach and late reflex action by Iweka. The Northern Lions all begging this duo to take this game down the wire. Shovels out, flicks it to the empty space on the leg and takes himself up the strike. Okasha and Iweka are trying to see out this game to the very end, playing it safe. 11 is not what they need of the next 27 deliveries. Can the Central Eagles end this game at this point, or will this duo see out this game and give much sign of relief to the Northern Lions? No batters played more defensive strokes in this tournament than Okasha. Did a lot of that while he was pairing up with Sylvester Okwi. Has had to use that now as Ifeanyi Ubu has become a threat to his wicket. Flicks it to the leg. That gives them 1 chance and they take it. 1 more run. The runs are sitting at 10 now, still required. They are out of ball advantage. 10 needed of the next 25 deliveries. A 15 ball advantage for the Northern Lions. Needing less than 3 runs per over. They are looking to take this game. And that is how you end the 16th over. Ifeanyi Ubu says, now 10 runs is needed of the next 24 deliveries. The required run rate and the runs are still very much in favor of the Northern Lions. 2.50 is what they require per over. 10 of 24 shouldn't be far-fetched for the Northern Lions, but the fact that they do not have any more wickets at hand, it is going to be a very, very burdensome task for this remaining wicket duo.
You don't want to be in the shoes of the two coaches, Coach Sheye Olympio and Coach Ademola Onikoyi, respectively, for their various teams. Sheye Olympio, coach of the Northern Lions, Ademola Onikoyi, coach of the Central Eagles. 10 runs required in 24 balls. And Okasha, Isiaku, and Eweka Ogbemudia are the ones batting and hoping to be here again tomorrow to face Middlebelt Tigers for a place in the final. And Oladejo has been given that responsibility. They need 10 runs off 24 balls. Central Eagles need one more wicket to face Middlebelt Tigers.
Take your time, Okasha. Take your time. There's still a lot more balls, and all you need is 3 runs per over. Hasn't really clicked in terms of connecting balls against Oladejo. Oladejo has been one of the batters to successfully keep Okasha at bay. Okasha still hasn't found a way to play him into the gaps. Flicks it to the leg, and finally he does take himself off the strike with one less run to worry about for the Northern Lions. 9 now required of the next 22 deliveries. Eweka has had to come in and will also look to solve the puzzle of how to play out Oladejo's overs. First approach was to go big, an unsuccessful attempt. Eweka with a much different approach to the balls than Okasha. Okasha has been playing it extremely safe, unlike Eweka, who has been selective.
He needs to be very careful. I don't think Eweka has that power and technique, no disrespect to him, to hit the maximum that he's looking for. So he needs to play on the ground. If he doesn't want to give away his wicket, it's within their reach, or else he might be stumped out.
And that was an over for the Central Eagles, even though that the game is still very much difficult right now. 9 runs is what they need of the next 18 deliveries, which means that the batters of the Northern Lions will need to score at least 3 runs per over to try and see out this game and take that much needed win to take the Northern Lions into the next round of qualification.
There is a bit of thinking going on between two warriors, Peter Hall and birthday boy Chima Akachuku. And like I said, it's not too much for me to wish the SSLS, Akere and Odion happy birthday. Abayomi, they call him Abayomi 1. Why they call my brother Ayonusi the 2, but I can take him to 3 because there is another one, Yomi Israel. But Abayomi Kolonjo, Olayinka is his name. Happy birthday to you also. Happy birthday to Rachel Sampson of the female yellow green. They are currently in Edo State at the Edo Boys High School High Performance Center, Ugbowo, preparing for the annual Kwibuka Women's T20I tournament. Chima Akachuku, birthday boy, starts out with a wide and they need 8 more. Ajao. Daniel Agiekum. AJ Cricket Hop. And he's gone! Chima wins it! Chima wins it! Chima wins it like he does! Peter, what do you have to say?
This game was in the hands of the Northern Lions. They could have taken that win, and this match was theirs for the taking, given how effective the bowlers were. They lost early wickets, and that has cost them this much-needed win. Looking at that wicket again, Okasha, who had already been steady, couldn't select that ball, and that ball was the call by the umpire. The last wicket, the last hope of the Northern Lions, has seen them not qualify for the next round, meaning that the Central Eagles will go up against the Middlebelt Tigers. And if the Middlebelt Tigers successfully beat the Central Eagles, there might be a third meeting between these two. But for now, looking at the batting chart, Akachuku with 30 runs, Peter Awu 15, and Peter Isari 7. Those were the highest contributors with the bat for the Central Eagles. Ridwan Abdul Karim with 2 wickets, and Okasha and Sylvester Okwe picking 1 wicket apiece. Sylvester Okwe in the batting also scored joint highest in this match, 30 of 28 balls. Okasha Isaku losing that last wicket with 10, and Isaac Oyengba 10 of 20. Peter Awu picking 3 much needed wickets, Chima Akachuku 2, and Samson Adebayo 2 wickets as well. And we'll be joining my colleague Seun Ajidagba for the post-match presentation shortly.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Itafawa Balewa Cricket Over. The post-match interview is what we are about to witness. It was a frenetic game, Eliminator 2, between the Central Eagles and, of course, the Northern Lions. The Central Eagles had to fight like Eagles usually do, and they soar above every other person to win that game by 7 runs. What a frenetic finish this ended with. And at this juncture, I'll be calling on the captain of the Northern Lions, but here represented by Isaac Oyengba. Isaac Oyengba, the Northern Lions won 3 straight matches in the group and lost 3 straight matches. What went wrong?
I just feel we didn't apply ourselves properly in the 3 games we lost, and hopefully the 3rd place match will come back strong. Thank you.
Well, you talked about a 3rd place. I don't think there is a place for that, because the reality staring us in the face is that the Central Eagles, who defeated you today, will go ahead to face the Middlebelt Tigers for a place in the final. But let's look at it critically. In all the 3 matches that you've lost without playing out the overs. You have always lost all your wickets. This was a game where you people should have won by virtue of what your opponent posted in the first innings. But again, the big players failed to stand up to be counted.
Well, it's cricket, it happens, and we'll take this one as it has come, regardless.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
You don't want to be in the shoes of Isaac Oyengba. How do you explain a team that was reduced to 82 and eventually they could not win and they still lost by 7 runs? Ladies and gentlemen, I'll now be calling on the captain of the Central Eagles, Peter Aho. Peter Aho, in the first innings, your team scored 82 for loss of 7 in 20 overs. When I was talking to you at the center after winning the toss and electing to bat, you said you wanted to score 120 runs, and that did not happen. Despite missing Happy Bakshaw, despite missing Prosper Hussaini, despite missing Salim Salau, you still said you have the boys that could do it. At any point in time, did you ever think you're going to lose this game?
No.
You need to speak like somebody who has just done a very good game.
My voice.
Your voice has gone, but again, you saw what happened in that last ball that was bowled by Chima Akachuku, the bedbreak ball.
Yeah, that was a good finish for us to end the game there.
And what can you say about your team? Chima Akachuku, today is his birthday, and what a perfect birthday he gave the team.
Let me use this opportunity to wish him happy birthday and wish him very long life and many games to win for us. I think Chima, like I said before, is a fantastic player. He has helped us in a lot of games, and to see him help us again today, that's very good. I think that's a good gift for him to us.
Is there any hope of the duo of Prosper Hussaini and of course Salim Salau back early for tomorrow's game?
We don't know yet, but by tomorrow we know.
I wish you all the best.
Thank
And
you.
I will not allow you to go, Peter, because you have done something remarkable by virtue of your performance. You scored 15 runs off 17 balls. You took 4 wickets for 23 runs in 4 overs. And to help me present this is the man we have come to respect so much, the director at Ogun State Sports Council and the former under-19 coach, Coach Seyi Shonde, and the coach of the Southern Sharks, the finalists. Thank you very much, the director at Ogun State Sports Council and the coach of the Southern Sharks. You cannot go. Just one word, Peter. Congratulations on winning the player of the match. How excited are you?
Yeah, I'm very excited.
And what's up for tomorrow? You are playing against the Middlebelt Tigers for a place in the final.
We'll go all out tomorrow. Just try to get into the finals here.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Peter Ho. Congratulations to you. Match 17 of the Nigeria Super League, done and dusted. the second eliminator done and dusted. Tomorrow we reconvene again for who gets to play in the final. The Middle Belt Tigers will be slugging it out with the Central Eagles for a place in the final to face the Southern Sharks. From Tafawa Balewa Carnival, venue of the Nigeria Super League, my name is Shewaji Dagba. God bless you all and have a great night rest.